emergency podcast on this Saturday night. I'm West Coast time, but if you're East Coast like Drew, it is already Sunday. Wow. I mean, let's just break it down real quick. I know we're in utter shock right now. We try to hit up Dales and Riv and even John Tortorelli to be on here, but seems like they're sleeping. Me and Drew are some late birds. So okay, let's just get it straight, right? Luka Doncic has been traded to the Los Angeles Lakers. Anthony Davis has been traded to the Dallas Mavericks. The full trade is the Lakers get Luka, Kleba, Markieff Morris. The Mavericks get Anthony Davis, Max Christie, a 2029 Lakers first round pick, and the Jazz get Jalen Hood-Schifino, a Clippers second, and a Mavericks second. And some important information about this trade. Mavericks GM Nico Harrison stated, "I believe that defense wins championships. I believe that getting an all-defensive center and an all-NBA player with a defensive mindset gives us a better chance. We're built to win now and in the future." And the Mavericks approached the Lakers recently and offered Luka Doncic, sources tell ESPN. The Lakers brass met and believe the 25-year-old Doncic has the ability to be the face of their franchise for the next decade while giving Anthony Davis a win-now move in Dallas. Let's talk about it, Drew. What's your instant reaction?
I cannot believe the Lakers have Luka Doncic on their team. I need to formally say, Luka, I apologize for anything I've said in the past. I'm willing to move on. If you're willing to move on, I'm ready to love you as a Los Angeles Laker. Anthony Davis, you will be missed. We had some amazing memories on that basketball court, but business is business. When you get a chance to move on to a generational superstar like Luka Doncic is on the offensive side of the ball, you make that move. Every basketball fan wondered, what were the Lakers going to do once LeBron James retired? Is Anthony Davis a piece that you can build a true championship team around? The Lakers felt that that was not the case. They made the move to get Luka Doncic, a guy who has single-handedly changed the trajectory of the Dallas Mavericks since being drafted to their team. Two Western Conference appearances and a finals appearance. Luka Doncic is a generational offensive player that can elevate any team that he is on. And he is now a Los Angeles Laker. I cannot believe that we are actually here talking about this, that this is real. I couldn't convince my mind to believe that this was real until I turned on ESPN and saw them talking about it. Shout out to Stephen A. Shout out to Big Perk. I cannot believe the Los Angeles Lakers acquired Luka Doncic. But I also can't believe the Dallas Mavericks were actually willing to part ways with an organizational. There's no player. I think it's Victor Wembanyama, Jokic. That is the end of the list of players that you want to move forward with your franchise with. I can't believe the Dallas Mavericks were actually able and willing to not only move off, but approach the Los Angeles Lakers to make a move like this. I understand that defense is imperative, and you have Lively, you have Gafford, you have true fives that can really help back up Anthony Davis so he can go and play his true natural position for the four. The Mavericks also won in their own right. But we wondered what the plan was post LeBron James. We have our answer. It's Luka Doncic. I can't believe this, Joel.
I'm emotional about it because the Knicks are my team in the East. I like to think of the Mavericks as my team in the West. I think there's a lot of Mavericks and Knicks ties just naturally dating back to the Kristaps Porzingis trade that we had with them, and then there's some other history behind that. I want to just speak about this calmly before I go too crazy. The Mavericks got Anthony Davis back. I feel like we can't just gloss over that. He's a defensive player of the year caliber type of player. He's an all NBA player. If you would have told me in 2019, Kyrie Irving, Anthony Davis, and Klay Thompson are your big three, I think that you can win a championship. I don't think I feel that way now. I think the Mavericks have a all-around very good team, and I think Anthony Davis does make them a serious playoff threat. I don't think that we can overlook a team that has Kyrie and Anthony Davis. I don't. And the question marks around the Mavericks was always, can they win with two guards, that being Luka and Kyrie, given the defensive deficiencies that comes with? I always thought that meant that you're going to have to find a way to part ways with Kyrie Irving, not Luka Doncic. The Mavericks are still going to be a good team, but one thing's for sure, and this where I'm going to go a little bit crazy. If Mark Cuban was still majority owner of the Mavericks, this trade doesn't happen.
No way.
Luka Doncic was going to be their franchise star. And part of me, now the reality sinking in that Luka Doncic is not going to be a Maverick lifer. He's not going to follow suit of the Dirk Nowitzkis of the world. It breaks my heart for Mavericks fans. This was the ultimate slap in the face to a generational franchise-altering player. Luka Doncic, let's just put this into perspective. Luka Doncic got traded before Joel Embiid. He got traded before Giannis Antetokounmpo. The Bucks, we know, don't have a chance. This Mavericks team was going to have a chance when Luka came back and was healthy. Luka Doncic just made the NBA Finals. He beat 3 50-plus win teams to get there. He led every single player in points, rebounds, and assists. He is a generational playoff performer. And the Mavericks traded him. There is no way you can convince the fan base that you have a better chance to win in the future without Luka Doncic on your team, and that you have a better chance to win now without Luka Doncic on your team. It's ridiculous. And the Lakers, a franchise that, I mean, my goodness, can they get any more luckier? LeBron James handpicked them. LeBron James was able to get Anthony Davis. Let's not even talk about the laundry list of historic players that have walked through the Lakers organization, from Kobe Bryant to Shaquille O'Neal to Jerry West, Wilt Chamberlain to Kareem Abdul-Jabbar to Magic Johnson. Luka Doncic is now added to that lineage, to that history. I don't know how the Lakers do it. Just a couple weeks ago, just a week ago, we're talking about this team in no man's land. We don't know how their future is going to look. And JJ Redick gets a gift. Here's Luka Doncic. Here's the player you're going to build around. I'm wondering what the Lakers are going to do next. Are they going to try to trade LeBron James for some future assets?
Possible.
Are they going to try to play with Luka and LeBron this year? Because I don't think the team is good enough to win this year. But JJ Redick now has a player that he can build around. And I think that's all you can ask for. Like, I don't even know what went into the Mavericks thought process to even make this deal. The fact that they were the ones that called the Lakers and said, we're unhappy in our relationship, we want your guy, is ridiculous to me. I really can't believe it.
The only thing that can come into my mind is that Luka went to the front office and said, I don't want to be here long term. I don't want to be a Dallas Mavericks for the long term. And at minimum, he gave them that opportunity to go ahead and flip him for an amazing elite player in his own right in Anthony Davis. Like you said, like everybody's going to say, the Mavericks did not get a bum. Far from. Anthony Davis is an amazing player in his own right. I think he will fit very nicely in Dallas. But this is malpractice. You do not trade a player of Luka Doncic's caliber. And I want to say this to everyone that ever shit-talked Rob Pelinka. Make sure the apology was as loud as the disrespect. You wanted him to make the move for AD. You said, give up all the pieces. Let's do it. Go ahead and let's get it done. You gave him slack, even though I'm very on record saying this was LeBron James. LeBron James wanted Russell Westbrook, but you guys pointed the finger at him, said, all right, Russell Westbrook, come on, come to the Lakers. You were mad at him for not pulling the trigger on Kyrie Irving. Now he went and got Luka Doncic and set up the Lakers franchise to be golden for a decade to come.
I'm just pissed off. I'm really just pissed off. And if you're a Mavericks fan, you should feel pissed off, because like, this is like the Bills trading Josh Allen. This is like the Ravens trading Lamar Jackson. This is like the Nuggets trading Nikola Jokic because he's a defensive liability. What the hell?
Can we also put the cherry on top with me and Mavs fans? Mavs fans, I won. I not only shit-talked your favorite player, he's now on my team. And guess what? I love him now. I love him. I won't ever slander Luka Doncic ever again. You guys, I understand. We've had some great times. We've had some great back and forth. You guys thought you won last year when you made your finals run. I won. I have Luka now. The Los Angeles Lakers are going to have franchise changing, generational. What is it, Mr. Moran? A 6-time first team All NBA? Is that what it is? On my team.
Should be an MVP already. Should be. So after the Anthony Davis trade, I'm looking at this Lakers roster. Austin Reeves, Luka Doncic, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, Jackson Hayes, DFS. This is a terrible roster. Can we just get that straight? Like, I think the number one thing that we have to mention is that the Lakers, I don't think, are close to competing for a championship right now.
I agree with this. I'm not going to disagree. I don't think this Lakers roster is great. You have LeBron James, you have Luka Doncic, you have Austin Reeves, DFS, Rui. It gets really
It's
muddy
a bad team.
when we start talking about the front court. It's a bad team. We don't have any bigs. Anthony Davis we were already talking about how thin we were in the front court when we had AD. Now we don't have AD. It is terrible. I'm interested to see if this is it. I'm okay if that's the case. I'm okay if we're just going to punt this season. We're just going to see where LeBron and Luka can take us, and then we adjust accordingly in the draft or in this offseason. I want to also say we got Luka Doncic. I don't want to sound harshly when I say for nothing, but Anthony Davis and Luka Doncic, you swap that 10 times out of 10. You do that every day of the week. Max Christie, the win here is that the Lakers were able to move off Jalen Hood-Schifino. That is also a win that we're not going to talk about, but Lakers fans are rejoicing. We don't have to worry about the development and or just the player as a whole of Jalen Hood-Schifino. And a 2029 first-round pick, it's a no-brainer. The Lakers got Luka essentially for free.
I think losing Max Christie isn't nothing. Obviously, it's Luka Doncic.
I'm not going to disagree.
Yeah, but
he's been playing good
I'll just say
basketball.
this. It is Anthony Davis. And here's where it's like, I know Mavericks fans are heartbroken right now. I ought to be heartbroken too. I'm heartbroken just thinking about it because I like the Mavericks because Luka Doncic is one of my favorite players. That's like if Anthony Edwards got traded from the Timberwolves. I'd be heartbroken for them.
Joel, what are you to be upset about? You can still love Luka.
I do love Luka still.
Come on, baby.
I do love Luka. I don't have any hatred for the Lakers. But to kind of put my thoughts in perspective a little bit, I think the Lakers, they're going to have to get a lot of things right to build a team around Luka to compete. It's Luka, so it's not going to be that difficult.
I was going to say, Mavs really didn't make that many great moves.
You make a couple good moves, and the Lakers should be back in contention because they have Luka Doncic. But I don't think the Mavericks suck. And this is where I know Mavericks fans are really annoyed and they're mad at the fact that they don't have Luka Doncic anymore. How many teams in the West with this Mavericks team do you think can beat them in a series?
Honestly, OKC, it's getting muddy now because...
Is it just OKC? I think it's just OKC that I'm like, yeah, I think they beat Dallas in a series.
The Nuggets, you still have to respect. I know they're not this amazing, well-rounded team, especially because the uncertainty of Jamal Murray. But Jokic has shown does not matter unless it's Joel Embiid, which we don't have to worry about because he never plays against Jokic. There's nobody that can match up with him. But I respect Lively. I respect Gafford. And I respect Anthony Davis. I love Anthony Davis.
But if you have Anthony Davis guarding
with backside help
and backside, and you have Gafford or Lively, like the way I'm looking at this Mavericks team, and I know a lot of Mavericks fans are in the heat of the moment, and a lot of NBA fans are in the heat of the moment because it's like, oh, Lakers finally get another star. They always do this, but like I said earlier, Kyrie, Clay, PJ, Najee, AD, Gafford, Lively, Max Christie now, Quentin Grimes, Am I missing somebody else? There's probably a couple more depth
Spencer
players that I'm
Dinwiddie.
missing.
I don't know if you said
Yeah,
him.
Spencer Dinwiddie, he's like whatever. He's
Been playing
what
some
he is.
decent ball.
But I'm looking at the Mavericks team, and Kyrie Irving isn't going to drop off from this year to the next. I think Kyrie Irving still has 2 to 3 years left of high level basketball. I think Anthony Davis is in the same realm. I think he has 3 to 4 years left of all NBA caliber
Of his
play.
peak. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I think the Mavericks, they are going to be a contender in the West. Like, as much as Luka Doncic meant to the Mavericks, after the NBA Finals happened, the narrative on Luka was that you couldn't win a championship with him because of the defensive deficiencies. And this year he got hurt because he's been nursing an injury and his body kind of just collapsed on him this year. But there was reports that the Mavericks were a little bit worried about his conditioning. And that's also been something that's been that people have been talking about, which is Luka's conditioning. So maybe the Mavericks here are just saying, listen, we think that this championship can contend for this team can contend for a championship. And if Luka Doncic hadn't gotten hurt, I think the Mavericks would be a top 3 seed right now. I think with the addition of Anthony Davis, if he doesn't get hurt, they could climb up and be one of the 4 best teams in the West and have a great record.
I'm not going to disagree with this at all. Anthony Davis makes them, which they already were, one of the best defensive teams. We could be talking about them in the same breath as Oklahoma City, but I'll be transparent with you. This move for the Dallas Mavericks makes me think even more so that they're going to go out and trade for a Cam from OKC.
That Dallas is trading for Cam Johnson, or that the Lakers are?
That if I'm Oklahoma City,
yeah,
it now became even more imperative for me to go out and get Cam Johnson. My one weakness is having another offensive guy. If I go out there and get Cam Johnson, that kind of solidifies that for us there. This move now becomes an essential piece for OKC, who understand we're not only one of the best defensive teams, we're the best defensive team in basketball right now, but we need another guy on offense that can go in there and get a bucket. And right now, if this is going to be the team that's going to be in our way, a team that already has shown, even though it is Luka Doncic, he didn't play his best series at all against Oklahoma City. But now with Anthony Davis, who solidifies them as one of the best defenses in basketball, for people that had a question about Anthony Davis's defense, why he can't anchor one of the top 5, one of the top 10 defenses in basketball, prepare. Get ready to realize what Anthony Davis can do when he actually has help around him. PJ Washington, Najee Marshall when he gets back, the backline defense in the front court as well with Lively and Gaffer when Lively does return from injury. This team is going to be a great team, an amazing team. They are still legitimate contenders, but this is a franchise-altering move by moving off of Luka Doncic, who has raised their ceiling tremendously, and you see how much he impacts them when he's off the floor and how they are not a top 6, top 7 team while he's been injured.
Yeah. What's the craziest thing that you think can happen from this trade? What's the craziest outcome?
Devin Booker getting traded now for a crazy bag. I just think that this is just a league-altering move. This is one of the craziest, if not the craziest, mid-season trades in the history of basketball. I can't believe that we're actually here talking about Luka Doncic being traded, like you said, and like everybody's going to have the same sentiment. You don't trade a player like Luka. You get 2, 3 of those for a decade to come. We have Jokic. We have Wemby. You respect Giannis, but we've thought that he was going to get traded over these last couple of years, seeming that he's been unhappy. So that's kind of one that we've been on the fence about. But Luka never came to mind, and us believing he was going to get traded. This can shake the league. This was a 2K-esque trade, and I would not be surprised if Phoenix just decides, you know what? Let's get a bag for Devin Booker. Let's trade Kevin Durant. We're not going to win anything. Let's go and let's get our picks back. Let's go and try and build for the future. This could shake up how we look at the rest of the season tremendously for so many other teams.
My affinity for the Mavericks isn't the same as it once was because now Luka's not on the team. I think the craziest outcome is that the Mavericks end up going to the NBA Finals after making the trade. I think that's the craziest outcome. I think that would validate Nico Harrison's decision somewhat. Even if I don't think it was a smart move for Nico Harrison to trade Luka Doncic, And time will tell if this was the stupidest move or a good move or a very smart move. Nico Harrison, it took a lot of guts and balls to trade Luka Doncic. And that's where I will give him credit, because I don't think this was one of those trades where you trade Luka for a treasure chest of draft picks and you're just shooting in the dark. You're just shooting darts to see if you hit on some guys. He landed Anthony Davis, and I don't think that that can be forgotten in this. And I think he just has a belief that Anthony Davis, his defense and his offensive ability, with Kyrie Irving's offensive ability and role players around them, I think that can win a championship. Now, I think the obvious concerns are we don't trust Kyrie Irving as a lead ball handler in consecutive playoff series to get it done. I think that's the number one concern that we have, but I think that would be the craziest outcome for the Mavericks, and time will tell. I think even after LeBron were to retire, I've tried to build franchises with the Lakers before and with Anthony Davis, and it seems like they kind of get stuck in no man's land because the assets aren't quite there. So I'm interested to see how they build around Luka Doncic. I think that's the toughest thing. And this is one of those deals that we're saying the Lakers automatically won because they got Luka and he's 25 and he's a superstar. But the better team right now today is the Mavericks.
I'll say this. The rest of the season will be interesting to see how it plays out. Next year, when Anthony Davis is able to slim down to play his natural position of the four, I'm extremely intrigued to see him play basketball in that manner. See him play a little bit faster, a little bit lighter, have the ball in his hands a little bit. When we watched Anthony Davis on the Pelicans, when he was able to play that four, we wondered what happened when he came to LA, when he had to bulk up and he wasn't moving as fluid, as fast as he once did with the basketball in his hands, because he had to play an entirely different position, because playing the center position means that you have to be the brute enforcer. And as great as Anthony Davis is, and as great as he was able to manage to do that for the Lakers for so many seasons, we understand that's not where he's best at. Joel, how long have I been saying this? As long as I've been on this podcast, that I still want the Lakers to get a center because Anthony Davis is better at the four. Well, the Mavericks have not only one, but two great centers in Derek Lively and Daniel Gafford that will give him that backside help. Anthony Davis is going to fit like a glove with the Mavericks. That being said, you do not move off of Luka Doncic. It's really that simple.
It's the reality that the Mavericks are in now, though. And I think I just wonder how this all went down. Like, if this was a Nico Harrison,
it has to be Luka, dude. There's no way that
I don't
trade
think
happens without Luka.
I don't think part of me feels like Luka didn't okay it. I think Luka was under the thought process that he was going to be a Maverick lifer. I'm just questioning if this was a team decision, if this was Nico Harrison going out there and just making this on his own, or if this was Nico Harrison and Jason Kidd both sitting down and talking about this thing, and Nico Harrison telling Jason Kidd, hey, listen, Luka is our franchise player, but what do you think if Anthony Davis is on this team? And just the thought process of like me being in that room and them talking about it and them just saying, I think Anthony Davis makes us a better team. I just can't imagine that, but it's probably what happened.
I'm going to say two things happened. Luka addressed the situation saying he didn't want to be there long term. Understanding that you can still get amazing assets for Luka Doncic, they decided, let's approach the Los Angeles Lakers, whose direction is questionable, about potentially bringing in a guy that we know can solidify our front court and make us arguably the best defense in basketball, while on top of it still giving us 25 to 27 points per game. It's not insane. If you're a Mavs fan, you're probably bummed. You're probably brutally mad, and I get it. I would be too, especially because you gave him to the Lakers. But Luka's defense wasn't great. Anthony Davis's offense is still really good, but he's an elite defender. You don't have a Luka Doncic on your team, but it's okay to still have an Anthony Davis on your squad. He's going to be fantastic for you. And that let me not say that anymore because the Mavs and Luka have no association anymore. But that Kyrie Irving and Anthony Davis offense, it's still going to be a great one.
The last thing I'll say on this, and then we can get out of here. Luka Doncic was in line to receive a 5-year, $345 million supermax
Jesus.
from the Mavericks. He will now not be eligible for that because he got traded. That is $69 million annually. That's how much they would have to pay. Luka Doncic, his contract expires in 2027, 2028. He's under contract this year, next year, and then the year after that, he has a player option, so he could have opted out. This is similar to the De'Aaron Fox situation where the Kings were kind of looking at the market. De'Aaron Fox already told them that he doesn't want to re-sign, and now they're shopping him. It's highly possible that even if the reports say, or we don't think that Luka demanded out, there was probably a non-committal answer from his camp saying, if the team isn't championship contending worthy 2 years from now, Luka could leave on this player when he could opt out of the player option and he could leave, and that maybe force the Mavericks hand. So that's also a possibility. I'm just putting out possibilities out here. But yeah, the Mavericks, that a lot probably went into this decision. I don't think they just traded him for no reason. We're probably going to get more clarity on it later in the future, but this is one of the most shocking trades in NBA history. Not even right now, not even in the last couple of years. This is one of the most shocking moves in the history of the NBA.
Not just we got a mid-season trade, which we were begging for. We were wondering who was going to be. No one ever in their right mind thought it was this. This isn't just a regular mid-season move. This is the biggest move in NBA history. You'd never see a move of this caliber, let alone in the middle of the season. I can't believe that we're here talking about this, Joel. I have literal goosebumps. This is one of the craziest nights in basketball ever.
We have super chats here. Ricky goes, do you welcome me, my beloved Laker brother?
Ricky, no, not even at all. Sorry, pal. You chose your side. Enjoy being a Mavericks fan.
Santos goes, rest in peace to Joel's Mavs agenda.
That's okay. It was always rooted in Luka Doncic love, so it will be continued in LA.
Yeah, I mean, the Mavericks, I am still very much a Luka fan. I don't think the Mavericks suck. I think, man, it's gonna be really hard for Mavericks fans to get over this. I don't think they ever will.
Joel, think about all like the 16, 17-year-olds that first decided to like basketball. Excuse me, let me go further than that. The 11, 12-year-olds that said, wow, Luka is so fun to watch. I'm going to be a Mavericks fan. This is my favorite team. And now they don't have him anymore. I'd be gutted. That must suck.
The really Mavericks, they got to go on like a 10-game win streak to make this all better. I Suck Toes goes, Luka's still not winning a ring. Let's be for real. Like, the Lakers aren't going to become this amazing front office capable of building a championship team.
They did it once. They can do it again.
Red Hood goes, as a Kobe fan, this is amazing. The LeBron era is finally over. Thank God. Joel Embiid to the Lakers confirmed.
Imagine that. Now, let me say this. If not for Nikola Jokic, the Lakers could be celebrating another championship. Let's remember that Rob Pelinka is still a great GM.
Next super chat is from Jack. Dallas doesn't even have their own future first.
That's fair. The Nets do have it, if I'm not mistaken.
I Suck Toes goes, trade says a lot about Luka, a lose-lose situation.
I mean, you get Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is still playing great basketball, but Luka Doncic trading him is insane. It's insane.
Darren Faust goes, this would never happen to Jason Tatum. I'm just saying.
No, it wouldn't.
Because the team you built is stacked.
Well, they made great moves. Can't be upset at them for that.
Shout out to Brad Stevens, man. But no, this is not a reflection on Luka.
You know, it's going to be amazing, Joel, and I'm going to say this now. People are going to bring up things that I said in the past. And I swear to you, Joel, I mean this from the bottom of my heart. I don't care. It's irrelevant. I'm treating Luka Doncic like the golden child. I'm treating him like he created the sport of basketball. I'm ready to love and embrace Luka Doncic like I've been a fan of his since day one. I am thrilled. This is one of the happiest I've been in a long, long time. Last time I was this happy was when we smoked the Warriors in the playoffs. And just seeing the look on Riv's face, having to wear that Lakers jersey, that was amazing. But we got Luka Doncic. I can't believe today's real.
I'm glad you feel that way.
I love him.
Jake Kings goes, Jason Christopher Tatum would never get traded like this.
He wouldn't. He wouldn't.
Alex goes, rift between AD and front office had been brewing per Brett Siegel.
And I'm not too surprised at that, dude. Remember when we spoke about how I didn't love Anthony Davis coming out and talking to Shams saying that we need a 5. Have we ever known Anthony Davis in his tenure as a Laker to be vocal about anything front office related? No. So I get where this guy's coming from.
Santos goes, Drew, we here, Lake Show.
Come on, Santos. Come on, boy. Come on.
Jake Clark goes, Luka has to be on the verge of retirement. That's the only possible explanation.
Imagine.
Okay. Moises Sombrano goes, imagine Lakers get Steph Curry.
I need a big. Get me Vooch somehow, some way.
I don't think that's going to cut it. Steph Curry, I'm saying. The roster, look, I think this is my closing thoughts on this. I think the Lakers roster is still pretty terrible.
Is it terrible?
Yeah, I think it is.
We beat the Knicks pretty comfortably without Anthony Davis. I don't think we're terrible.
I think it's pretty terrible.
What's terrible about it exactly? Our front court.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's like worse in the league front court now.
Of course. I agree with that wholeheartedly.
Yeah. So what's the starting lineup? It's
against
Reeves.
The Knicks in MSG without Anthony Davis.
Yeah, but
but that goes to my point saying, yes, it's the regular season. Anything happened on a night-to-night basis. But against the Knicks, you do not blow them out on their home court without Anthony Davis.
I think just right now, the Lakers, they have a long road ahead of. I don't think building
What's
around.
What's terrible about us, though? I'm trying to wrap my head around that.
I mean, I think that's the fact that it's taking you so long, I think is an issue. I think the front court is really bad.
That's what's got you saying this team is not good. Even though we have wings, we have amazing elite guard play now, as good as it gets with Reeves and Luka.
What happens next year if LeBron retires?
Then okay, now we move forward building the entire, already that's going to be the case, but we build the entire team around Luka Doncic. In the offseason, in the draft, we focus to get a big. We go and we spend offseason money to go and get a big. Walker Kessler's still not out of the picture.
The defensive stoppers on the team right now were
DFS, and Vando.
Okay. I mean, Vando can't play in the playoffs.
DFS can.
I know he can, but he was like part of the supporting cast in Dallas that wasn't very good with the Mavericks. And he's older now and not as good as he was.
He's been playing pretty decent ball. I'm not mad about the way that he's been playing.
I'm looking. The top 6 for the Lakers is Luka, LeBron, Reeves, Rui.
Correct.
DFS.
Correct.
Vando.
Correct.
Let's be serious.
I'm not hating what I'm hearing.
The chat. Am I going insane?
Our front court's terrible. The fact that Jackson Hayes is going to have to start kills me.
Okay, so we got some more super chats, and then we'll get out of here. Christian goes, all of this to lose to SGA.
Okay.
Red Hood goes, LeBron don't know about it. Lakers are finally taking the organization back. LeBron trade incoming.
I don't think LeBron's getting traded. LeBron's not leaving. But if he does, it would suck.
The Tribe goes, to be honest, this is a win-win for both teams. If Luka wanted out, then AD is a great pickup. Lively and AD at the 4 and 5, it's not bad. Let's go, Lakers.
It's great.
Moises Sombrano goes, Lakers will definitely win 2 more finals, and the Kansas City Chiefs will win the repeat Super Bowl.
Yeah. Thank you, Moises, for your donation.
Dubs, do you think Bron gets traded now, and will Bronny go with him? Listen, I think the thing with the LeBron thing is he's probably going to retire soon. And if the Lakers want to build around Luka, I don't think they can compete. They can compete for a championship with Luka and LeBron. So if you want some assets to help the Luka rebuild go better, then I think it makes sense. But I don't think LeBron's getting traded. It's too hard to trade him.
It is too hard. And LeBron has a no trade clause. Can't forget that.
The tribe goes will probably trade AR-15 for a real big.
I don't hate that. I don't hate it at all. If it cost AR to get a legitimate big, it is what it is.
Next comment, Jack M. Blazers got more for Dame. I
I'm
mean, I don't think
fine.
so. They didn't get Anthony Davis.
They didn't get AD.
Jay Clark says Lakers went from no man's land on Wednesday to one of their brightest futures in the league.
And that's 100% a fact.
AD goes Kyrie as a number one is a choker. Only Lakers haters will say trading 32-year-old AD for MVP candidate 25-year-old is bad. It's not bad.
I mean, Anthony Davis is amazing. No one's going to talk about AD like he isn't still one of the best players in the league. AD has been playing like a top.
Okay, Drew froze up here. Maybe we get him back in a little bit. Joe Ocean goes, Jerry Jones had something to do with this.
Imagine.
Okay, so that's going to do it for our time here. Thank you, guys. We had over 1,000 recurring viewers on the live stream. We really appreciate it. It's very late at night, so the fact that you guys came through means a lot. This was one of the most shocking moves in NBA history. What can we say? But we'll see how this pans out.
Joel, come on, baby. There's a spot. I got a spot for you right here. Come to the Lake Show.
Luka Doncic is on the Lakers. You know what that means, baby. I'm here.
Yes, sir. Lake Show. Before we go, I want to say one thing, and I'll leave it. Lakers fans, we deserve this. We've been waiting. We've been impatiently waiting. Let me be honest. But we got our big move. We got our guy in Luka Doncic. But to my Mavs fans, I got you. See ya.
See you guys next time. We'll record a podcast next week. But in the meantime, you guys can follow us on TikTok and Instagram at Pick a Side Podcast, on Twitter at Pick a Side Pod. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.
Lake Show.